Just tell me when to run the video. Mike, your computer is unmuted, so don't load a video or anything.
I won't be loading any of the power porn.
Yeah. Molly Hondras. Located in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. This is the Real Estate Investing Show with Brent Daniels. I am excited because on this show, we know that the most proven path to financial freedom is discounted properties. Finding them, buying them, holding them, flipping them. We're going to go through all of that in the show today. And don't fall asleep. I know you won't, because at the top of the hour, we've got Iregbu coming on, showing you how to make multiple offers on every single deal so that you can pull more out of your current leads. It's going to be absolutely bananas. All right. First, a quick shout out to our sponsor, batchskiptracing.com. Batchskiptracing.com, where you go to get the most accurate numbers for the properties that you're trying to get a hold of. All right, this show is all about taking everything about real estate investing and simplifying it. This is your home. Welcome. Welcome. Feel comfortable here. Kick your feet up. It's time to ask questions and get the answers that you're looking for right now so that you can implement it into your business right away. That's the point. It's about getting it, stripping back all of the layers, all of the fog, all of the mystery of real estate investing so that you can go out there right now and start making a difference, both financially and just being happier, being out there knowing that what you're doing is making a difference in your community. So let me start this show off with this. This is going to be exciting. I'm going to hit you with a few facts. You guys ready for this, Mike, Jesse? You guys ready for this? Ready. All right. Fact number one. All right. Look at this. I got it right here. Do you know the difference between wealthy and rich? Right? Here's the difference between wealthy and rich. Wealthy means that your investments, your passive income, pays for all of your expenses. That's wealthy. Rich means you make a good amount of money, right? But you have to keep working, keep going, keep pushing, keep hustling to bring that income in so that you can, afford all the things that you want. Right? And this is going to be, I started with that because it's really, really interesting. Because I think when we start out, we just want to be rich. Man, we want to be rich. We want to get that income coming in. We want to be able to pay off our debts. We want to be able to buy nice things and go nice places and have nice opportunities. But at some point, we have to flip the switch. Rich is great. Wealthy is better. We need to look at what it really means to make investments, what it really means to go from a self-employed, I'm going to go through it, you see it in the back there, you see the cash flow quadrant there, the Robert Kiyosaki classic, the difference between being self-employed or being a business owner and turning into an investor. That's the first one. Second one, listen to this, guys. 1% of millionaires do it before 40. Let that sink in, youngsters. 1% do it before 40. 99% of them do it after 40. You want to know why? How about this stat from Business Insider? It takes 18 years. 18 years on average to get to that millionaire status of continuous work in whatever business or savings or job or whatever it is, investing. 18 years average. Well, Brent, I make calls for like a week. Why aren't I rich? I get that all the time. You believe it or not. You believe it or not. Why can't I make $100,000 a month? I've been doing this for 90 days. Listen, it takes time. But I'm telling you, you set the foundation right, and you are going to build an incredible business, an incredible lifestyle. All right? So that's a stat. 1% do it before 40, 18 years average to get there. Look at this. 95% of millionaires inherit habits from their parents. Right? My parents weren't millionaires. But guess what? I get to share that with my kids. Right? Isn't that incredible? Like, what an example that is. 95%. It starts with that one person in the family making a difference. One person in the family making those choices, going out there, really, really, really doing something special, not being in the herd, being different, having a different brain, having a different goal in life. It's absolutely incredible. I know everybody on this show feels that way. You wouldn't be on here watching this or watching a replay of this if you didn't already have that fire in your belly. But 95%, how exciting is that we get to pass it on to our family? Absolutely incredible. And here we go. I'm going to run through this quick because I want to go through a little graphic here that's going to really, really help you understand the different silos, the different options that you have for real estate investing. Number one, and this is a study from Fidelity Investments. Number one, this is for millionaires. They set ambitious goals and they act on it. Number two, they have mentors. They don't want to wait around. They want to skip to the front of the line. They want that pass, right? They want that person that's already been there to take them there faster. Number three, they're not afraid of failure. And number four, they understand the value of their time. All right? Those are incredible. 4 things right there from Fidelity Investments. They did a research. They did a, what are those things called? Like a study. They've done a study, and that is the top 4 things that millionaires have in common. And the last thing that I want to mention here before we really get into real estate investing and the breakdown there is 1,700 millionaires are made every single day. 1,700. When is it going to be your day? For real. That's important. 1,700 people. If they can do it, so can you. So let's pop up this real estate graphic here, Matt. Look at this. We put this together specifically because there is so much mystery, right? There's so many different books and there's so many different podcasts and YouTube channel and videos and everything going on, but it's really confusing. How do you understand how to be a real estate investor? And if you look at the bottom there, if you look at what the land looks like there, the foundation of this picture is discounted properties. That's all wholesaling is. Wholesaling is the art of finding discounted properties. But that is the foundation of anything that you want to do as a real estate investor. You have to start with the discounted properties. Remember, you're making money on these when you buy them. All right? When you buy these properties, you want to make sure, even if it's a great property in a great area and you've got a ton of money or you've got a great opportunity with it, make sure that you're getting it at a discounted price. It helps you all throughout your career. It's a great, great, great habit to have. I mean, it's just fundamental. You need to make sure that you're finding discounted properties. But look at the options that you have once you are able to source discounted properties. You've got fix and flip. You've got a rental portfolio. You've got developing properties. You've got being the bank, which I love. That's my favorite. And then you've got, obviously, you can coach and mentorship people on the side once you've built up a resume, an experience level that you feel that you can go and really give people the mentorship. But what I want to really get through to you, because this was the most confusing thing to me 20 years ago when I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I was like, I want to be a real estate investor. Then I read Think and Grow Rich, and I read, the Cash Flow Quadrant by Robbie, and I kept going and going and going, but nothing was telling me, how do I find discounted properties? What's the path? What is the strategy? What are the tactics? What are the blind spots that I have? Everything was a blind spot. I was blissfully ignorant. I didn't know how you go out and find it. There's not in these books, they tell you the theory of it. They educate you really well, but they don't tell you how do you go out and actually find these opportunities. And it starts with learning how to wholesale. It starts with learning how to find those discounted properties. It starts with the core, the seed of having quality conversations with distressed property owners. That's it. That's how we set up all of these things. You want to build a huge business off of doing sub 2 and build a rental portfolio? Guess what? You got to have quality conversations. You want to go and get seller financing, build your rental portfolio? Guess what? You have to have quality conversations. You want to build up and get multifamily properties? Guess what? Yes, you know it. You got to have quality conversations. You want to build a skyscraper? You want to build your own apartments? You want to build houses? You want to build subdivisions? You want to build commercial properties? You have to talk to people. You have to have quality conversations with distressed property owners to get all of that going. Right? You want to lend the money that you make. You find incredible wholesale deals. You keep that, and instead of buying a property, you say, you know what? I want to be the bank and earn 10 to 12% on your money as a private money lender. I mean, the sky is the limit. You want to fix and flip properties? You want to get into it and be like that HGTV where you're going and you're making these ugly houses beautiful and you're posting the before and after pics and you're showing how beautiful it is and you're getting everybody's opinion on it and everybody's like, oh, you're amazing. You're the greatest designer of all time. I wish you did my house. All that, respect and emotion and people coming at you just being like, wow, you are incredibly creative. All of that starts. Put the graphic back up, please. All of that starts with wholesale properties. All of it. All of it starts with finding discounted properties. This show is called Buying Properties No Money Down. And Brian's going to really go through it and do a great job at the top of the hour. Make sure that you're sticking around. Brian's going to be on here. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, make sure that you do it. We put out videos every single day. This is the channel you've been looking for. This is the pure instruction you've been looking for. Hit that subscribe button, hit that alert button, hit that like button or the thumbs up, and let's rock and roll. All right? So right here, you've got to find discounted properties. You got to get good at finding discounted properties. On this channel, we show you exactly how you find discounted properties. We're going to answer questions today on finding discounted properties, but it starts with that core. If you're starting with no money, if you're starting with a low budget, but you want to be a real estate investor, then it's time to trade your efforts for the money. All right? It's time to trade your skills for the money. It's time to trade your skills for the opportunities and efforts and action, all of that, for you to be able to start building up your wealth base. Right? If you don't have that huge amount, if you're in debt, if you're like doing a 9-to-5 and barely making paycheck to paycheck, whatever else, this is the blueprint. This is how you move from that to that $1 million status. All right? It starts with the efforts. It starts with you going out there and really making a difference in your community. It starts with you being proactive. It starts from you breaking out of the shell of uncertainty and fear and going straight ahead and doing exactly what we talk about in this channel, on this show, about just going out, finding properties that are in distress and having a quality conversation with that owner, and to the point where you've talked to enough people where you've got the opportunities you're looking for. You earn the income. Maybe you start out wholesaling. Maybe you start out flipping a little bit if you have some financial backers. But let's say you start out like most of us and we're assigning those deals, right? We're starting to get that income. We're starting to build that heavy, healthy bank account. Then all of a sudden we have the opportunity to start building up our wealth base by investing in assets. All right, so look at this graphic right here. It is really great because this is all of us. But the problem is, if you look at 1, 2, and 3, that is where everybody gets trapped. Boop, 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 boop. Planning, goal setting, research, and then back. And then we start over. Is it wholesaling? Is it crypto? Is it some sort of stock app? Is it some sort of drop shipping? Is it some sort of whatever it is? Or are you absolutely focused on real estate? Is real estate really your burning passion? It starts with planning it out, goal setting, getting your goals. We already do that. We do that naturally, right? As soon as something comes into our radar, we're like, oh my gosh, what is that? Oh, I gotta learn about this wholesaling, or I know somebody that's wholesaling, or I know somebody that's a real estate investor, or I'm reading this book. And then you set the goals, and you're like, yes, I can do this. And then you do your research. How do I get it? How do I find these opportunities? I'm going. But the number 4, number 5, that's the difference maker. That is the difference maker. Number 4, if you focus on that, that's where you win. That's why I say that the dumbest people in this industry make the most money, because they skip all through 1, 2, and 3, and they just start going. They just start taking action. They start talking to everybody. They're looking for any kind of distressed property conversation that they can have a conversation with. Anybody that has a hint of motivation, they're going after, right? And they're just not over planning. They probably have goals and they're going after it, but the action, that's where it's at. That's what I want to inspire you to do. That's what I want to give you the juice to do, is give you the tools so that you can go and take that action and not feel like you're just spinning your wheels and you feel, kind of discouraged and disappointed, and all the doubts start creeping in. And no, you got to stay focused on the actions. I'm telling you, if you are in action and you're having quality conversations with distressed property owners, you will win. And it starts there, and then you start scaling. And scaling can be building up your business. Scaling can be investing in these properties. That is where it's at. Mike, do you have something? No, Mike's good. Okay, let's go right here, and then we'll end rant. We're going to open it up. So if you have any questions, get them ready. We're ready to answer them. Alejandra is on the computer looking at all the questions.
Hey,
so
Brent,
if you want...
Check out this great comment regarding what you were just talking about.
Okay. Did my first session of cold calls yesterday after almost a year process. 200 only regret. Yes! Johnny Monopoly. That's what I'm talking about. I love that you put the last name Monopoly there. There was a great little meme. Have you guys seen this meme that's talking about, it's like life for most people, for 95% of people, is playing Monopoly, where they just collect the $200 and they don't buy anything. The whole game. They don't buy anything. They're just paying rents at other people's houses and hotels and all that stuff, and they just get their $200 and they just collect and collect and collect. We have to build assets. We have to buy assets. We have to invest. That's the whole point of that whole game. That's incredible. But look at this real quick over here. If you haven't seen this cash flow quadrant, this is from Robert Kiyosaki. E stands for employee. S stands for self-employed, B stands for business owner, and I stands for investor, all right? And the natural progression is E to S to B to I. So starting out, you're working, and then you decide you're a crazy person. You're gonna go out there, and in your off hours, you're gonna make calls. You're gonna reach out. You're gonna knock doors. You're gonna go, and you're gonna be proactive, and you're gonna find real estate deals. So you're here. You're working in here. And then all of a sudden, this starts replacing this. This is the path of progress. This replaces being an employee, right? And then you go here and you start hiring people when it's right, and you start really building up your business, and you start finding a really smooth path to finding discounted properties. And then from there, you're getting income here, you're a business owner, you got other people running it, and now you've got cash to be able to invest in the things that you want. Maybe you just want to be the lender. Maybe you just want to be the big bank man. Bank man! Maybe you want to be the bank. Maybe you want to buy and develop properties. Maybe you want to drive down the street and see a property that you built or that you rehabbed, you fix and flipped, and say, show your kids for the next 30, 50 years, whatever, I built that house. I renovated that house. That was a great house. Or maybe you just want to build up a great rental portfolio and build up that cash flow to get to that wealth, right? How do you get the passive income if you're not buying the assets? Well, how do I buy the assets if I don't have the money? Well, if you don't have the money, you got to put in the effort to find the opportunities. You find the opportunities, guess what? 100% confident in this. You find the opportunities, you will raise the money. You'll raise all the money you need. And maybe you just need a little bit. Maybe you just need it for the first 50 deals, but you're going to do 1,500 deals in your life. You're going to do 2,000 deals in your life. The first 50 deals, you're raising money because people know that you're out there, you're being proactive, you're being exciting. You're finding deals in a market that nobody can find off-market deals, or that is aggressively, the supply and demand is aggressive and there's not enough properties for people to purchase, and there's a feeding frenzy. That's what I'm talking about. People will naturally come to you like a magnet if you're being proactive, if you're out there working as an S, and then at some point you get enough money to start hiring and building up the systems and being a real business owner, and then you become the investor. But it starts with the foundation. It starts with you finding discounted properties. And I'm talking to everybody. This is about no money down, all right? I'm talking about the people that don't have the financial means. You don't have $1 million in a savings account. You don't have $100,000 in a savings account. You need to go out there and you need to find these opportunities to start building up your income level in your bank account so that you can start being really smart and really thoughtful about your investments. So that's it. I mean, that is the plan. That is the game plan. That is the mystery taking out of every book or every seminar that doesn't really tell you what's going on, what's the path, what do I do? Oh, all of a sudden there's 15 different ways to build your rental portfolio. There's 1,000 ways to lend money. There's a ton of different ways to do fix and flip and all these things, right? Just simplify it to right now, finding discounted properties, and then you decide what's your passion. Do you want to fix and flip? Do you want rental properties? Do you want to develop? Do you want to be the bank? Or do you want to coach and mentor? You're probably going to do that anyway, locally or globally. Who knows? Globally, universally, whatever. But that is, you have to set it up with the foundation. And the foundation is finding discounted properties. That's the foundation of the show. That's the foundation of what I want to get out to everybody is go out there with your efforts and find opportunities, and you win. There you go. Rant over. How'd we do? Yeah?
Dude, that was a pretty solid rant. How long did you work on that?
All my life. All my life I've been working on that.
Hey,
I've been working on that for...
You got the bell back there?
No, the bell is in my office, so we'll need to get the bell. Yeah. All right, so let's open this up to questions. Let's open this up. As you guys can see, we've got this new super camera here. Kind of blocks out the back. It's real cool. It's like kind of intimidating. I feel like I need to wear makeup. But I'm not going to. Not yet. Not yet anyway. Matt wants me to, but I'm not going to. All right? So let's open it up. Let's open it up to questions, and let's rock and roll. Because this is your show. So whatever questions you have, whatever you're struggling with, I want to make sure that we answer that and get it going. So here we go. Brandon, my man. Here we go. TTB family right here. How do I guide my seller through the process after we've signed a title? I want to set an expectation for them throughout the process while I get a buyer. This is fantastic, Brandon. And there's two parts to this, okay? The first part is, number one, you need to get your escrow officer or closing attorney or closing attorney's assistant or whatever it is on board with your business. They need to literally be like part of your business. I mean, they're a huge partner. They do everything once the contract is in, and you just need to educate them on how you want them to communicate with your seller. Because remember, title companies have hundreds of deals going on at all times. You need them to focus in and like literally just go through exactly how you want to communicate with them. And what I would do is I would just ask them, how do you communicate with the seller so that they're getting everything over to you and that they're really comfortable with the transaction? All right. So the big efforts are made by the title company once you turn in the purchase contract, because they have to get all the information from the seller. They have to get it all organized. They got to get all the payoffs. If they have mortgages or liens or whatever else, they handle all that, right? So when the money comes in, all those debts get paid off in clear title, right? And that's how you get clear title passed on to the new owner. So you need to have that conversation with your escrow officer and stay on them. Because the best ones get busy, and when they get busy, they get sloppy. So you need to make sure that you're staying on them and they're communicating, over communicating with your seller. Because a lot of these escrow officers are used to working with sellers that are represented by real estate agents. And real estate agents hold their hands more when it comes to the escrow process. And so now the escrow officer has to do that. They have to take on some more responsibility. So let them know that they need to do that. After that, it's just having the conversation. You want to set the upfront expectations, Brandon. You know, when you sign that contract, you got to tell them in 2 or 3 days, it's going to be a zoo here. I'm going to bring everybody by. I need 2 hours to come and check out the property. Are you okay with that? What's the best time? Is it between 1 and 3? Is it between 3 and 5? Set that up. Set that upfront expectation that a ton of people are going to come through, and it should go smooth. And on a weekly basis, you need to communicate with your sellers. I see this all the time. I locked up this deal. It's fantastic. I'm going to get my check at the closing. Come on, man. Like, was that a Joe Biden? It might have been, right? It might have been. Sorry. Whatever. You have to communicate with them weekly. You have to communicate with them every single week so that they know that you're still there, so that any questions that arise, hey, just checking in on you. Is there anything that you need from me? How's things going? Is title communicating with you? Yes, 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 yes. If they don't answer, send them a text, right? So over communicate all the time, especially when you're in escrow, because you don't want to be, you don't want things to get wiggly and all of a sudden they ghost you in the middle of a transaction. You're like, what's going on? Now, sometimes it happens. We're dealing with people that, might have some communication, lack in communication, right? So make sure that you over communicate. You need to be responsible for that. Don't expect them to be reaching out to you all the time. Okay? Awesome, Brandon. Thanks for opening it up.
That was pretty good, but I think we need to work on your Joe Biden.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Maybe on the next question. Go ahead, Alejandro. All right. Can you elaborate on the contract process of wholesaling? All right, Seth. So I don't think that there needs to be too much elaboration. What I will say is this. First of all, we have in TTP Insider, ttpinsider.com, you join that, we've got the contracts that you can download. Now, what I suggest is you just don't blindly take that contract. I don't think you should blindly take anybody's contract. I think you should take that contract to your preferred title company and talk to their attorney or the closing attorney, and they're all going to say, oh, there's not enough stuff in there. Just say, what do you need in here to make this as smooth as possible? And then use that contract, because truly, the title company is the one that really interprets the contract. I mean, obviously, it's between you and the seller, but they're the ones kind of the referee, making sure that everybody is not breaching the contract and making sure that everything's going smooth. So what I would highly suggest, download that contract, download the assignment agreement, take it locally, make sure that you've got really good eyes on that, and you typically don't have to spend money on that. Now, if they're backed up and they're taking a lot of time and they don't want to meet with you right now because of whatever else, then you're just going to have to hire a real estate attorney for $300, $400, take a look at your contract, make sure that they get it all the way that they want it for the state specific, and you're rocking and rolling. From there, listen, the contract is pretty simple, right? You're the buyer, they're the seller, here's the address, here's the legal description. Sometimes addresses, the title company likes having the legal description just to make sure that the address was put in correctly, that they're working on the right property. They can also do that with the tax ID number. We're getting into the weeds, but you wanted to talk about contracts here, so we're going to go off a little bit here. And I want to simplify this because I think this is a big hurdle for people, is, oh no, the contract, I don't know what it is. It's like, signing a cell phone service contract. You just kind of like, I'm not reading this, right? So you're going through the buyer, seller, address, the legal description, your tax ID. You want to put in earnest money. If you're going to do earnest money, obviously you're going to put in the purchase price, and you're going to put in the closing date. When are you going to close that? And that's most of what you fill out in the contract. Obviously, talk to an attorney in your area, but for the most part, you just need to make sure that everybody understands what they're selling for what price and when it's supposed to close. So don't overcomplicate it. I don't mind if you screw it up. The best part, Seth, is if you screw up the contract, just go to the title company or your closing attorney and say, I have no idea what I'm doing. Can you make sure that I've got everything in here? Did I put everything in here that needs to be in here for you to do your job? And they go, yes, no, I need you to change this. And then you just go get an addendum signed by the property owner, and you're good. So make sure that you rely on the people that are in the escrow process that are going through and really making sure everybody's staying in line with the contract. Make sure that they like it and make sure that they've got the terms that they need. Yeah. And don't get, anyway, go ahead.
So two things. One, Stephanie says you look nice without makeup. So that looks.
Oh, thank you, Stephanie.
That's a good compliment.
All right, I like that.
The other thing for Seth is after he gets everything signed, you know, T's crossed, I's dotted. What's the app that you use to open up escrow and leave the paperwork and just make that seamless?
Yeah, it's a TurboScan. So I've got a TurboScan app on my phone. All of my acquisition managers have it. Everybody in my company has it. It's a really, really, really great intuitive app. You literally just take a picture of it. It turns it into a PDF. You email that PDF directly to your closing attorney or your title company. We do it right there at the appointment so that they know that we're serious and we've got that contract. Now, depending on where you're at, I don't know if you need to keep the original contract. We usually leave the original contract with the property owner so that they have that, and we've got the copy. It's over to the title company, and we're rocking and rolling. So it kind of kills two birds with one stone. They get a copy of the contract, and you get it over to title or closing attorney fast. And that's what you want. You want to open it up. You want to see if there's anything strange going on with the title that's going to mess with it. So, yeah, good question. Julio, how can I make sure a buyer isn't going to go behind my back to the seller to make a deal? Well, first of all, start with not putting that in your subconscious. You will manifest that, without a doubt. If you're worried about that and worried about that and worried about that and worried about that and worried about that, it's like my dad always said, who do you know that that's actually happened to? You know what I mean? Like, I was always worried that like ninjas were going to break into my house and like, steal all my stuff or whatever. And my dad's like, well, who do you know that that's ever happened to? I'm like, no one. He's like, exactly. So, I mean, I know that it's out there. I know that it's happening. Maybe it's happening to you. A couple things that I would do is make sure that you have a conversation with that property owner and tell them, hey, listen, as soon as they open up escrow, there might be more people coming and trying to get you to breach the contract, to illegally breach the contract and work with them, but we are committed. I want you to know that we are absolutely committed. I'm committed to closing this deal. Obviously, we have our inspection period, but I'm committed to you, you're committed to me, and so if anybody comes to try to get you to breach the contract, you give them to me, because those are shady characters, and you should not be having conversations with them, all right? There's just unscrupulous people out there. How about that? How about that? That thesaurus, big word. That's my word of the day. Unscrupulous. But honestly, Julio, so first, get it out of your mind if you're thinking that it's going to happen. Second is, if you've got, I really like this because this really hits home with two deals that we recently locked up. Okay, and that was a multifamily deal and another really, really, really good juicy deal that we have. Anytime it's a really big deal, I don't want anything having the opportunity to throw that thing off. I close that deal immediately. And I don't care if you have to go and talk to every relative you have, every friend that you have, every real estate investor that you're networking with or squatting up with to get the down payment, to then get the hard money or the private money to close that deal. Close that deal. All right? And it could be anywhere. I mean, if you feel like 40 grand up is great, great. If it's 50 grand up, great. You know what I mean? But I would say close on it and then blast it out. Because if they try what are they going to do? They're going to come to you and say, hey, I'll give you more? Okay, great. You know what I mean? So what I would highly suggest you do on anything big, especially if you're worried about somebody coming behind, because, if it's a big, juicy deal and people know about it and people were fighting for that deal, but they didn't get it because, Julio, you charmed them. You went in there and you were using the skills and the tools that you learned from TTP Insider. Little shameless plug there, but literally we give you all the tools that you need to have a really great presentation, offer presentation pack in TTP Insider. You go there, you lock it up, you're charming, somebody else is pissed. They're sitting there like, that was my deal. How dare you? I do all the deals in this zip code. How did you get that, Julio? Wow, you're magnificent. I love you. But no, I don't. I'm going to go try to get that deal. They can't do it if you own it. They can't do it if you own it. So there you go. We're rolling. I love this show. You feeling it? Feeling the energy?
Best day ever.
Yeah, I felt like, the rest of the shows just didn't have as much energy. No, this is great. Right, remember, top of the hour. Brian Iregbu will be here. He's going to talk about doing multiple offers on every deal so that you can have different opportunities to close those deals. It's a next level. Now, he's a big, we talk about being a rhinoceros and taking massive action. He is out there and he is like taking massive action. So it's going to be absolutely incredible. Make sure that you stick around for that. We're going to patch him in live like we do at the top of the hour every show, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. So Jason asks, what steps do you take when entering a new market? Well, that's fun. So I've entered new markets, but kind of in a different way. I partner with different select real estate investors around the country where my team, because we are absolute like samurai at getting deals over the phone, and I've got a really great team of prospectors. What we do is we get a list from somebody, they send it to us, we skip trace it, we call them, we send it to them, and then we split the deal 50-50. And I love that because they have all the market knowledge, they have all the cash buyers, they do all that. Now, if you want to go into your own market, remember, you need to understand what are the buyers buying. And Jason, you need 180 days of learning. The learning curve is 180 days. Listen to me again. 6 months in a new market. 6 months. Well, why is it only 90 days in my own market? You know the values. You know what people, you're having conversation. You see what things are selling for. In other areas, you don't know if this street sells for $100,000 and the next street over sells for $300,000. You have to get some market data. You need to get reps in a new market to understand what the buyers. Some buyers are looking to get way deeper discounts in some areas than other areas that are in major markets, and they're fine just keeping the machine moving. So it just takes time to figure all that out. So number one, set the expectation 180 days, 6 months to get a foothold in a new market. Second, you need to find somebody that will help you comp. Nice thing is, Jamil Damji talks about it all the time with Keegly. If you can tie into Keegly, they can help you comp and sell those deals. So Keegly.com. I push them because the TTP family, you work with them, and they're fantastic. I work with them here local. Fantastic. It's really good on specific deals. So you've got that resource for you that is growing every single day, every single week. So definitely look out for that. If they're not in your market, find somebody that you can bounce ideas off of, whether that be a real estate agent or whether that be another wholesaler in the area that you're using to learn that market and tap into their cash buyer database. Now you can pull cash buyers. You can pull the real estate agents that work with investors. You can call them up and start building your cash buyer database, but it takes time. So you need to make sure that you find somebody in there that you can cut that learning curve down, that understands the market and will help you from putting a property under contract and canceling the first 11, which is like the average of what most people do. They put all these properties under, I'm crushing it in Kentucky, and then they cancel all the deals, right? And then they get frustrated. So make sure that you get somebody local that can check your work, all right? Just like a mentor in that area, just looking over your shoulder, somebody that's a grade above you a little bit, you're learning, and they're looking down, and they're helping you out, making sure that you're getting the right values, and then you progress, and you progress, and you progress, and then you've got a great, strong foundation in that market. So that's what I suggest, Jason, and be proactive. Be proactive. Get out there and start taking action.
So how would they pay people for that help?
Usually split the deal. Yeah, usually you're splitting the deal on that. Oftentimes it's 50-50. You might be able to negotiate from there. But I think that the learning experience is worth not putting properties under contract and canceling and canceling and canceling.
And from just personal experience working with Keegly, me and Mike did a huge wholesale deal in 2019.
Yep.
And even though we split the assignment fee with Keegly, we made more money than we would have just because their buyers list is so deep.
Yeah, that's it. So there you go. It's absolutely true. If there's sometimes they catch our properties and commit to it, but usually we sell them on our own. But if we have something that we think that will just go through the moon, if they push it out, we'll do that. So I like this. I like this camera. I keep looking over at the screen. I'm like, it's kind of foggy. It's kind of like faded in the back and zoomed in. All right. Cinematic, yeah, cinematic. Yeah, this was used for Lord of the Rings, believe it or not. No, it wasn't. Dang it. You lied to me. Stranger Things. There you go.
Yeah. What else?
Okay. Satch, there you are. Hey, Brent, we are currently getting around 8 to 10 contacts per hour through a fresh list with fresh numbers. What may we be doing wrong? Our settings? You're fine. That's good. That's good right now. I mean, it really is. With as much as the cell phone providers are trying and attempting to block calls that are unknown, and if people push the end button too fast on numbers that they don't know, it kind of triggers them to start filtering out certain phone numbers. So one, make sure that your phone numbers are nice and fresh, your caller ID numbers are nice and fresh. Two, I like that. 10 contacts an hour, you can start doing some damage. I mean, obviously, make sure that you're using batch skip tracing for your data. Make sure that you're using a dialer. Batch has a great dialer there. TTP discount code on both of those. Make sure you use that. But, you can get more contacts if you are, because you're talking about the call hammer, you're using the Mojo dialer. If you turn the call hammer off, it only calls the first number, and that allows you to make the contact a lot faster because it's not dialing all the other numbers. It's just dialing the most likely number for them. You burn through the list a lot faster, but you're going to have a lot of conversations. So, Satch, I love it. I love that you posted this because this means that you're making calls and taking action, which is absolutely fantastic. So, post if you, where's that bell? There it is. I'm going to ring this just because you're taking action because I love it. But that's awesome, Satch. Put in here what deals you've gotten, and I'll ring that bell again.
So for other people on a brand new list, right, fresh list, first time through it, what would be like a bad contact rate?
Anything under 7%. If you're making 100 calls and you're talking to less than 7 people, your data's off. 2, your caller ID is burnt up. Right, you got a caller ID from CallRail or from wherever else. Batch provides them in the actual dialer. Just make sure that you're Googling it. Make sure that it's not showing up as spam likely, because these numbers get recycled as soon as somebody drops it. You don't know if it was somebody that used it for sell gym memberships, made millions of calls from it or something.
So if it's 7% or less, would you say could be one or multiple of 3 things, which would be you've got a spam number.
Yep.
The list itself is no good.
Yep.
And or the phone numbers where your skip tracing is no good.
It's not the list. I mean, it could be the list if you're pulling from and getting like the wrong addresses and like mailing addresses, but they really wouldn't come back with phone numbers. So even if I could pull a list of every house in my neighborhood. They're not distressed, but they'd pick up. You know what I mean? So it's not the list, it's more the caller ID and the data. If you're not getting that, if you're not having a lot of conversations, it's most likely your data. I can't believe it now, in 2021, people don't understand that batch skip tracing is like light years ahead of everybody. Like, people are still using other skip tracing. I don't understand it. I just don't. I mean, they got to be frustrated. But it's not even close. I mean, it's really not even close. Well, Brent, you're in Batch office. You're in Batch Studios. Do you own Batch? I don't own Batch. But I know without a doubt that I push the absolute best resources and tools to you guys, to my TTP family mentorship, and it wouldn't make sense. I wouldn't have as many successful students and testimonials if the data was bad. It's not even close. It's not even close. They pull from 4 or 5 different sources that other people don't have. Everybody else takes a company called IDI, and then they white label it, and then they put it out to everybody. It's silly. So go with the best. Stop messing around. You're going to get a lot better contact rate. Good. Yeah, Sam, absolutely. Your credit doesn't come into account here. Your efforts come into account here. Okay? Now, if your credit is bad, what are you going to use? You're not getting a loan for these properties. I mean, you might partner up with somebody that has cash, but they're not going to check your credit score. They're going to want to look for discounted properties. When you go to a private money lender, they are what's called an asset-based lender. What that means is they make their decisions on how much they're going to lend and for how long and what interest rate based on the property, not based on the person. So they're looking at a property and they go, okay, what's the risk if this person doesn't make any payments? Okay, great, we're going to give them this. I'd love them to not make a payment. I'll take that property back and make 50, 60, 70 times what I would make on this interest payment. No problem. So, no, absolutely you can start with bad credit. You don't need credit in this. You need your efforts. You need your action. You need a cell phone. You need a list. You need ugly houses. And you need to call them up and ask them if they would consider an offer. And if you haven't already, you need to subscribe to this channel. Subscribe right now. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the alerts. We come out with unbelievable content every single day. So make sure that you subscribe. Do not sleep on it. This is not one of those channels that you're like, well, I'll just pop in here when I can. No, make sure that you subscribe so that you can keep building your momentum. All right? There you go. What did Satch say? Does he have 2 currently under contract? Looked like it popped up for a second. 2 cold calls, three deals under contract. Come on. Keeping 2 for rehabbing. Look at Satch. Look at him. Look what house he's at. Wholesaling is the foundation, which is just finding discount properties, and now he's in the fix and flip house. He's building that fix and flip house in there. And by the way, that little graphic, can we pop that up again, Matt? This little graphic here on real estate investing and just simplifying it and breaking it down, like you can do all the houses. You could be in any one of these. That's the exciting thing, right? Put that up for a little bit longer. That was a little bit quick. You can fix and flip. You can build your rental portfolio, development, be the bank, and coach and mentor. You can do all of these things. It's all open to you, but nothing happens unless you find the discounted properties. And that's what's incredible. Satch is proving it right now. Oh, I found 3 deals. Boom. Okay, great. I'm going to fix and flip 2, wholesale 1. Boom. That is incredible. Because remember, what's really important here, and keep it on for just a second, Matt, wholesaling is not real estate investing. Wholesaling is not real estate investing. Real estate investing is buying properties, improving properties, holding properties, owning or controlling properties. All right? Wholesaling is finding discounted properties. It's a totally different thing. So if you want to call yourself a real estate investor, you need to own the properties. Well, I don't have money. I don't have good credit. I don't have the resources. Right. But you have the fire in your belly. You have all the action steps that you need to be able to find an ugly house and get that property under contract. TTP Insider, make sure that you guys check that out. All right. Next, what do we got? How are we doing on time? Oh, fantastic. 15 minutes. In 15 minutes, Brian Iregbu is going to be here, and we are going to rock and roll.
Hey, real quick, Brent. I've got TTP Insider pulled up on my computer. Do you just want to show people the toolkit and kind of what they get in there?
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, I think that, people don't know. Here you go. So first of all, you got to get the 7 layers deep exercise. That's fantastic. You've got the cold calling script. You got a lead sheet so that you know how to pre-qualify all the properties. You know how to find and do your driving for dollars with how to find distressed property download. You've got your cash buyer pack that's going to show you how to build your first 100 cash buyers very quickly. You've got your assignment agreements. You've got, where did we go? You've got a purchase agreement. You've got the perfect offer pack so you know how to go in the presentations. Calculators, analyzers, trackers. I mean, it's all in there. It's all in there. It's absolutely incredible. So definitely check that out. It's all in there. That's free. I mean, you go, you put your email in, boom, it's free. So it's a must-have. There you go. Let's rock and roll. Brian Iregbu and 14 minutes. Make sure you stick around. Tara, sorry. Whichever one. Should I get a totally separate phone line for marketing purposes? Yeah, actually, you've got, what's that app? Burner phone? Burner is a phone app. I like using CallRail. CallRail does a really good job of tracking the calls that come back and the numbers and everything going on there. So CallRail isn't a tremendous cost, which is really great. So yeah, for sure. See, here's the issue. So a couple different things. So when you say marketing, if you're going to do traditional marketing like a website or a direct mail or bandit signs, you definitely want a different number because you want to know. You got to answer that call. You're going to be like, oh, somebody's calling me on my regular phone number, but I don't recognize it. I'm not answering that. That could be a deal. So you got to make sure that when the phone rings, you know that it is somebody calling on your marketing. Now, if you're prospecting, if you're door knocking and leaving your phone number at the house, or if you are picking up the phone and calling, your caller ID should be a different number. Yeah, for sure. Great question. Yep. Stephanie. Hey Brent, I know this is all about wholesaling, but I want to know about your personal development. Like, what book are you reading right now? What's your routine that keeps you focused and energized? Awesome, Stephanie. So a couple different things. One book that I'm reading right now is Delivering Happiness. It's written by the guy that created Zappos, who was a big shoe company and sold to Amazon for, I think, 1.5 or $1.9 billion in 2009. And he talks all about the customer experience and making sure that that is a core principle. It's a really fantastic book, a really top book. I mean, it's kind of more business development. I wouldn't say that it's specific real estate. And my routine is typically the kids are in bed by 9. I mean, the young Bo, my 3-year-old, is in by 8. My 9-year-old is done by 9. So from 9 to 10:30, 11, that's when I read. That's when I put together things for the show. That's when I put together just thoughts and ideas and watch some good YouTube stuff or listen to stuff. Obviously, I'm always listening. I never keep my radio on in the car. I get up. And I stay up late. I stay up until 12, 1 o'clock at night. I sleep till 6:30, 7:30, and then I'm off and running. And so it's just managing everything that's going on. A lot of the time, it's exciting because I give my cell phone number to all of my TTP family members, all in the mentorship. So I get a bunch of texts and respond to that, and a bunch of celebrations that they send me. They send me pictures of their checks and their successes, and we celebrate that. Some people need to get on the phone and call, so we do that. And then I work with my wholesaling team to make sure that we're consistently getting opportunities. So yeah, that's great, Stephanie. I mean, listen. Find the time to build up personally, but the most important thing is you having quality conversations. That's the problem. If you go back to that first graph, that blue graphic, getting stuck in those first 3, the planning, the research, the development, all that stuff is great, but that can be a huge creative avoidance. Creative avoidance. We get stuck in planning, goal setting, and research so much that we don't take action. And I'll tell you, that is my superpower, is taking action, is picking up the phone and taking action and going and going and going and going. I still have time to be able to digest and put in new stuff and keep plunging out all the bad negativity that the world gives us, which is what we get from books and videos and good audio. But the biggest thing is taking action, for sure.
So for Stephanie, what's some like foundational 1 or 2 books for personal development, mindset type stuff?
Yeah, I think that number 1 is The Go-Giver. I think if you understand that your income is equal to the value you provide the community, it makes it really fun to make a lot of income. It really does, because you know that you're giving more than you're taking. And it's absolutely incredible. That's a foundational book. I think Think and Grow Rich is fantastic. I think that really opens it up. I think it's really good. And there's a really good book that I just read, of respect, the law of respect. Dang it, I'll pull it up. Fantastic book, and it's just little things, little things that just, you put in the foundation of your mind, and it kind of plants the seed, and it changes your mental antenna. You start looking at the different. Oh, the other one, without a doubt, is the Financial Matrix. Financial Matrix. That one is incredible as well. So there you go.
Is it The Law of Respect by John Maxwell?
Nope. No. Yeah, I'll think of it. Yep. The Law and Science of Respect, I think it is. Will you pull that up? Anyway, Ash, just closed on my first day. 10K JV, so I'm getting 5K. Close it tomorrow. Thank you. Come on. Are you kidding me? That is bananas. I love it. Ash, I am so happy for you. Just just the start. You are going to be off and running. Now you proved it, right? Now you've crossed the bridge from faith to fact, and you are running. You prove it to your family. You prove it to your own mind. You prove it to anybody out there that's wondering if you can find deals. You proved it. You are off and running. Use that energy. Use that vibe. Use that juice, and keep moving forward. It's going to be absolutely incredible for you. And stay on here. I want you to share your progress with us.
Is it by James Prince?
Yeah.
I've got to pull that.
Yeah, James Prince, great book. I heard that one is absolutely incredible. He was on a Joe Rogan podcast and crushed it. I was so impressed. It was really great. But that one is incredible. I mean, just starting with just taking action. So, great book. Yep. What else? We've got Brian in 7 minutes. Okay, Jesse, 2 questions. 1, I'm getting a lot of wrong numbers. Is this normal, or should I only use batch skip? How can I make sure I'm not skipping the same addresses? Is there a way to scrub old files? Jesse, listen to me. Only use batch skip, first of all. If you can't, I think it's, 15 cents if you use the TTP code for as much as you want. If you can't afford that, get a $20 loan from somebody or something. You know what I mean? It's worth it. I mean, you can go to the True People Finder and the free websites and try to do your best, but 90% of those are going to be wrong, and it gets really frustrated, and it's tough to really build that momentum. But use batch skip, number 1. What was the second question there? Let's pop that up. Oh, how do you make sure that you're not skipping? So what we do is we use batchleads.io. God, there's a lot of push and batch, but we use it, so I'll do it. Batchleads.io, they put it in there. They make sure you can skip trace through it, and they make sure that you don't double up on your skip traces. What I've trained other people that don't have the budget for the monthly cost of batchleads.io is there's a way to take your Excel files and look for duplicates and remove the duplicates from it, and then start going. So you can do that just on your computer and figure that out, or just use batchleads.io TTP, and they make sure that it scrubs all those addresses so that you're not just skip tracing all the time. There you go. Good? Yeah? Okay, good. Next, what do we got? We've got Johnny Monopoly. What is an inspection period, and how do you word that to both a buyer and a seller? An inspection period is the time that you sign a contract, and typically it's about 10 days. And that's your inspection period, where you go and you get to inspect that property to be able to see if you're going to move forward with that transaction. In wholesaling, typically that's when we sell the deal. If you're going to assign that contract, if you're going to close on it, then obviously you bring in your contractors, you bring in your investors, you bring in anybody that needs to see it. If you're going to attempt to assign that, if you're going to assign that, then that's when you bring in your cash buyers. So it's in the contract. So if you want to know the word for that, it's in ttpinsider.com. It makes it very, very clear and plain language what the inspection period is, so that the seller knows and understands and has that expectations as well. So go to TTP Insider and check that out, and then go in and make sure that you get it to your local title company closing attorney, and make sure that they put in any language that they want. All right. Chris, can you talk about how to evaluate land and what questions to ask? There's no condition, so there are some good questions when talking to a seller about lots. Yeah, we do a lot of lots. Don't overthink it, Chris. Number 1 is when you're evaluating land, typically I want you going after properties that are in town. If a property is, if a brand new building, a brand new house, a brand new duplex, brand new whatever, is built on that piece of land, what will it sell for? Well, it'll sell for $500,000. Well, then the developer typically budgets 20% for the purchase of the actual land. So they're going to be up to about $100,000 on purchasing that land if they can build something and it's worth $500,000. So that's typically your numbers, 20%. Now, if you're out there and you're rural, give them like 10% of the tax assessed value and just see what happens. Most of the rural people, if they owe property taxes or they just want to get rid of it and not pay any more property taxes, they might even just deed over the property. We've had that done. It's pretty fun. But you know, you don't make a ton on those deals. So stay in town to make the most on those deals. From there, you just want to see if they've already got the access to utilities and what that looks like, what the cost is, because the developer is going to want to know if they need to budget that in, if they need to connect to, they will need to connect to all the utilities, but how far away is it? Is it a big piece of land that needs a septic tank, or does it have plumbing? Is it in a floodplain? What is the building envelope? You know, so in Arizona, for instance, you need 10 feet on one side of a property line and 3 feet on the other side of the property line to fit in the building envelope, and they only let you build about 30% of the lot size. So that definitely affects what you can build there. So just call down to the Planning and Zoning Committee and just ask them the question. Just literally, hey, listen, I've got this tax ID number, this parcel. Can you tell me what can be built on this and any restrictions that I have on that? And they'll let you know. They're really cool. And if you build a relationship with them, they're going to really hook you up and keep you from, you know, locking up deals that don't really make sense, because it might be a nice property, but there might be something wrong with it. It might be mostly in a floodplain, or, you know, it's just shaped odd and tough to really build something on there. So there you go. Don't overthink it, Chris. I mean, here's the thing. If you're just going after land and you're going for stuff in town, go for the slam dunk deals. Go for the stuff that are in the neighborhood. The utilities are right there, and you can either sell it to the neighbor next door or behind them, or you can sell it to a developer really, really, really easily. So there you go. Awesome. Matt, okay, we've got about a minute. Okay, all right. I have a driving for dollars lead of a brother who just inherited a house. Go ahead.
We don't have Brian yet, so we're just kicking questions over.
Oh, okay, good. Well, once he pops on, let me know. Give me the... Okay. I have a driving for dollars lead of a brother who just inherited house that is tenant occupied. We're good?
You got Brian?
We have him now, yeah.
Okay.
Let's hold this question.
We'll hold it till afterwards. Brian. Here we go. Brian Iregbu, how are you? I can't hear him.
No, I'm not getting audio from him.
Hold on 1 second, Brian.
It's on his end.
Does he need to...
Make sure his mic is turned on.
Is your mic turned on, Brian?
I'm getting zero input from him.
Zero? Okay. We got to figure this out, man. All right. Can you log out and log back in? Sometime that helped last week. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna figure this out. Technical difficulties for the second week in a row. Not happy about it, but we'll figure it out. So yeah. He should be back on pretty quick. Yeah. Let's answer that question.
I can tell he's restarting, so it'll take a couple minutes.
Okay, let's get to that question. Okay, I have a driving for a dollar lead of a brother who just inherited the house that is tenant occupied. It needs to go through probate. Can I make an offer before or as soon as the case opens? Yeah, man, you can. The issue is that it gets leveraged, right? You get leveraged. Your offer starts getting, bid up, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're the lowest on the totem pole. So what I would suggest you do is get really, really close to them. As soon as it's getting close, as soon as there's a date when the probate's going to go through, that's when you want to get the offer and get them committed, and then get it closed as soon as the probate gets through. Good? Can you hear him?
Yeah.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Here we go.
Hey.
Hey, Brian.
What's going on, man? Man, I'm great, man. I'm mad I can't get my actual HD camera to work. I feel like I look like Nintendo or something.
It's all right. You look fantastic. So, Brian, first of all, you've got an incredible YouTube channel. Everybody definitely check that out. But on that channel, you really talk about not just going in with one offer, but going in with several different options on the leads that you're finding. So why do you do that? What does that look like? Like, educate us.
Yeah. Man, so look, man, what I found out, right, and I know you like one of the king closers, Mr. TTP, right? So what I found out is the majority of, and correct me if I'm wrong, the majority of sellers don't want to sell their property for pennies on the dollar, man.
Right.
I mean, we're normally dealing with, I don't know, let's say 4 to 8% of the population, would you say?
Yep.
Somewhere along lines. Yep. And what I find is that when you give sellers, a cash offer is great, right, if they'll accept that for speed and convenience. But sometimes, and a lot of times, investors that think if they're not willing to sell their property for pennies on a dollar, they're not motivated.
Right.
That's not necessarily true. Sometimes they're motivated, but your offer just doesn't work, right? And so what I find is give them a couple of options, right? Both of the options making sense for you, right? And then you'll find it actually increases your conversion quite a bit. So that's the reason I do it. And man, you know, I used that strategy when I had a job working 50 to 70 hours a week, and it still allowed me to keep up with, you know, investors at the time that was, you know, working full time. And I barely had just a glimpse of time to invest in the real estate business, but it still allowed me to pick up deals by adding that to the, you know, the tool belt, man. That's basically the reason I do it.
I love it. And we talked about, you know, the foundation of real estate investing is finding discounted properties, right? And then you've got a lot of different things, right? You've got fix and flip, you got your rental portfolio, you got development, you've got be in the bank, you've got all these different things, but it starts with finding those motivated sellers. Now, they might not be motivated to take a cash offer, but they're motivated to do something. So when a lead comes into you, Brian, what does that look like? Are you putting it through some sort of like mental filter that you're like, okay, let's see, their situation's this, this, and this. I think that I'm going to go with this approach and give them a cash offer. And if not, I'll back up and I'll do something that's more creative. Like, how do you process that in that, in your brain?
Man, great question. So look, I love your framework. We do the exact same thing you do. Like, I don't like to make things, you know, complicated. People think creative finance, they think you're doing mental gymnastics.
Right.
No. You can just add a couple of just more things, right? That's real simple, right? You know, you're doing a layup. Okay, add a little jump shot, a few more things. So this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like, Brent. Lead comes in, we qualify the same way you qualify for motivation. The reason for selling, what happens if you don't sell, the condition, the timeline, right? The asking price, the reason for selling, right? Yep. And then we normally give an option, offer range, right? If we find with tug of war that this isn't going to be a fit, then we present another offer. And a lot of times, depending on the situation, we'll make both offers at the same time, and we'll just assume the close. You know, Mr. Seller, based on everything you shared with us, which one seems like a better fit for you? And just shut up. And I'm telling you, man, it works like magic.
And so you go in with a cash offer that's obviously the price is going to be lower, and then you go in with what other option is this? I guess it depends on the situation, right? If they own it free and clear, yeah.
Back it up. You asked about the framework. So property has a mortgage. Obviously, you know, this is going to be subject to, right? It's going to be taken over the existing, you know, loan. Now, what we're looking at typically on this is, will it cash flow? Can the property pay for itself, right? That's what we're looking for. And if it doesn't cash flow, if it doesn't pay for itself, does that mean it's a bad deal? No. We may do something like assign it, right? We might assign it to someone else, or we might structure it on a seller finance, aka a wraparound mortgage, right? And assign that to a retail buyer, because retail buyers, they're not looking for equity and cash flow. They pay top dollar, right? And so if that sub 2 won't cash flow, but it's still at a rate that someone is willing to pay that much because they're gonna lay their head there every night, we'll still be able to profit off that deal. If it's free and clear, that second offer, seller finance, of course.
And that's what's exciting, right? So a couple different things that I want to kind of pull apart there is, one is if they do have a mortgage and maybe there's not a lot of equity. Brian, we've been having, this has been bananas in our own business here in Phoenix. We're locking up sub 2 deals, and it is like a feeding frenzy when we put it out to assign that deal. Like it. Yeah. Listen, I could keep them. I could do that. I choose to keep that side and assign and see what's going on there. But it is a feeding frenzy. So even if they don't have a tremendous amount of equity, if you're able to put together a really solid sub 2 deal, people will pay you for those. People will pay you $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a pop to be able to add that to their portfolio, not have to go get a conventional loan every day of the week. And the second part is, you really want to make a ton? You really want to assign that?
Let's talk about it.
Sell it to somebody that's going to live there. You know what I mean? Just like you said. Sell it to somebody that's going to live there. Now, the other side is the creative financing. So let's just, for everybody that's not really sure, what that means, essentially, for the most part, these properties are owned free and clear, right? Or they've got a very significant amount of equity. But let's just say that they're free and clear for this example. Then you go in and you approach them as being the bank. Now, in your experience, Brian, is it because they don't want to pay a lot in taxes? Is it because they don't know what to do with the money? Is it because they want more for the property than you're willing to give them for a cash offer? That's it. Yeah. Okay. So when you're going,
so it's usually that. It's usually that they're not strapped or stressed for cash. They don't really have an emergency or pressing need. And if there's a way that you can give them more money and it doesn't scare them, they're willing to do it.
I love it. So how do you structure that? Do you put together a note? Do you put together a lease agreement with a purchase? Do you put together, do you have somebody handle the paperwork for you, like a closing attorney or title company? Like, how does that work?
So we write up the agreement, whatever. So Brent, if I'm looking to purchase your property, seller finance from you right now, your property's worth $100,000. I shot you a cash offer, $50,000 to $70,000, depending on the repairs. You say kick rocks, get out of my house, or hang up, right?
Yeah.
And I offer you an offer of, let's say, $80,000 for that exact same property. I would offer you $40,000 to $50,000, Brent. We would actually write that agreement up, right? $80,000. I normally don't just throw out interest. I don't negotiate against myself.
I love this. I love this. Yes.
If they insist, we're probably gonna start talking there. But I'm gonna start at rock bottom. But we would put that $80,000. We would put the term. We would put the interest rate. And at that point, Brent, I'm gonna let the experts do what the experts do. I'm a real estate investor. Pass that contract over to an attorney, a real estate attorney or title company. They're going to draw up a promissory note. Mm-hmm. They're going to draw up a deed of trust here in the state. We're in Texas, so that's the actual instrument that allows the seller to foreclose and take the property back in the event that I default.
Right.
So they have their protection as well. So that's what happened.
Did you hear what he said, everybody? He said he lets the experts take care of it. He's a real estate investor. His job is to go find the discounted properties and the deals and the opportunities and run a team in the business and cherry pick the deals that he wants to keep. He's not going out there getting scientific with every line of the promissory note or the contract or anything, right?
You know what, Brent? And it's funny because a lot of people are so scared of creative finance because they're like, oh, I don't know what to say. I'm not the expert. Yep. Check it out. Sellers respect honesty. They respect if you just kind of straight up front with them. So if you don't know the answer to a question, guess one of the best responses. Mr. Seller, that's a great question. Let me get with my real estate attorney. I'll have an answer for you by 5 o'clock. Is that fair? Right? Let me speak with blank experts. And they feel that they're comforted because you're surrounded with a team of experts. So
it's the truth. We don't need to know everything, and don't lie. Just tell them. I don't know. I know we can put this together. I'm going to let them worry about all of the technical paperwork, but let's you and I work on the price and terms, and we'll get this settled and figured out and as smooth as possible. And if they believe that, and they remember when you're negotiating with a property owner, it comes down to 3 things: the price, the terms, and whether or not they want to work with you. That's it. So if they want to work with you, just work out those other 2, let the paperwork get done by the experts, and you're off and running looking for other opportunities, because as well as I do, Brian, sometimes you fall into the black hole of like, I need to protect this deal. I need this deal to close. Oh my gosh, it's so precious. It's so beautiful. But you had a 50, 70 hour a week job. You couldn't afford to do that and worry about all this and like not sleep and go through all the brain damage. So you went and you set it up with people that you trust and you rock and roll. So let me ask you about that. Let me go back in case people don't really know, because I want to give them the heat early because I think that's so great. Okay. But how did you get into real estate? Where did you know what I mean? Like it sounded like you had a nice career going on. What happened?
Yeah. Man, I wanted freedom like you, Brent. What's today? I don't even know. oh, it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
We do our dispositions meetings on Wednesday. It's a Wednesday and you're inside of a set recording videos and doing what you want to do. I wanted that, right? I wanted that. And that's what happened. I did have a great job, Fortune 3 company, but man, I just wanted a little bit of freedom. So like everybody else, I was searching on YouTube, ways to make money. I know it sounds shallow, and I seen a bunch of scammy looking stuff, but I kept seeing people like you, and I was like, man, these people are real. Like, people are really doing this. And so I took my shot at real estate, and you hear people say, buy houses with no money, no credit. That sounds like I'm gonna tell you that sounds like a scam.
Of course.
I'm gonna keep it honest. But it's not, man, and it's real, and it'll change your life. Yeah, for sure.
So with your team, how are you guys going out and sourcing your leads? Like, what's your lead generation look like?
Right. So we shifted more so now. Cold calling's our number one, man. Last year and the year before, honestly, man, RVMs was our top.
Sure.
We were killing it, right? But the regulations and everything, man, it's just a lot harder. We've maneuvered so many different ways to get those messages through, and it's just the delivery rate is just kind of coming down. So we've been beefing up cold callers. I think we have 8 cold callers at the time. So cold calling is our number one, man. Number 2, still do a little bit of RVM, and 3rd is Facebook. So that's our top 3 marketing channels right now.
Fantastic.
Cold calling, RVM, and then Facebook.
So when these leads come in, who's working them? Is it going directly to you? Is it going to an acquisition manager, salesperson, or maybe a lead manager? Where do they go? Because you got 8 callers. I mean, it's got to be like raining leads, right? You know what I mean? You got to filter those.
So once the leads are filtered, right, and it's a qualified lead, these people are interested in selling. They understand that we're not retail buyers. They get assigned to one of our acquisition managers, okay? And the acquisition managers, of course, they make that follow-up call, and then they try to close the deal or contract the deal. So that's where it goes next. They contract the deal, they contract the deal, they put all the, they got the contract, everything's in Podio, they press a button, it goes to dispositions. Dispositions does that thing and try to find a buyer for the property. That's the process. Very simple.
Let me ask you about a struggle that I'm having, okay? This is a struggle that I'm having in my business. The struggle is we have them come in, we get big deals, Brian. We do really well at that, but there's a lot that we don't. There's a lot that we don't.
I'm so jealous.
There's a lot that we don't get, and it's like, in my mind, I don't want my acquisition managers going cash and creative, because I feel like they're going to lean towards the creative more than the cash, and then that's going to throw off cash flow. Right, it's going to throw off the cash flow, and then what do I pay them if we get those deals? It's very, it's a confusing thing. So how do you balance that out? Or do they know if a property comes in that it's most likely going to be a seller finance versus a traditional wholesale, or do they kind of have to work that out on their own?
Yeah, so they work it out on their own, and that's a great thing that you said to have an issue with, right? Because I'm gonna tell you an issue that was more prominent, right? That we had to because we had licensed acquisition managers, and it was kind of like, okay, if we can't wholesale it, we can list it, and if they try to convert things into a listing, they would kill the company's profit. It's like, whoa, But so that was more of a problem than what you're talking about. For that. No, because it makes more sense for the acquisition managers to contract it as a wholesale deal. They'll make more money. Right. So the only reason we would even do creative finance for them is if the seller, it's no way we're getting a cash offer accepted.
And then do you just pay them a flat fee if you get it through? Because I assume that now you own this property, right? And they're like, oh, I did all this work. So you just give them like a flat fee or something?
So check it out. It depends on what type of deal it was. Right. So you remember earlier I said, let's say the deal doesn't really have any equity and it doesn't really cash flow either, because investors buy for equity and cash flow. So on a deal like that, we would assign it and step away. So the assignment fee is the same. It might be a $10,000 assignment fee or a $15,000 assignment fee. And so you're back to the basics. You pay them a percentage based on that assignment fee. However, if it's something that I keep or one of the my partner keeps or somebody within the company keeps, This is how we do it at our company, because we promote everybody in our company having ownership, right?
Yes.
Or building wealth. We don't want to just be like, oh, employees and we're working. So what we do is that person, if they're taking it off the table, that they have to pay the company a $5,000 assignment fee.
Love it. Smart.
Right.
And by the way, that's a smoking deal for them. I mean, $5,000
Yeah,
to get
a smoking deal.
to get a seller finance deal.
And everybody wins. Nobody wants to be like, oh, the company owners are getting rich and one day I'll be an investor, right? So that's how we kind of put that into our company, to where employees also can buy deals.
And it's really interesting. And for everybody building a team, listen to me. Keep your salespeople happy. Keep your salespeople happy, because they will make or break your business and your conversions. And I think, Brian, that is just absolutely beautiful what you just said there, because I think a lot of times as owners we go, hey, wait a second. I paid for the marketing. I paid for this opportunity. I want to build my own net worth. Why would I pay somebody an assignment? Oh, man. And that's what really destroys the culture in a business.
And it's just me, Brent. I don't know if anybody else agrees. I don't even. Matter of fact, I was with Steve Trang, and I was talking to Max and Ryan. One of the top acquisition guys that kind of moved over. I was talking to him, and we all was agreeing that I really don't even like the word employees. Right. And be tossing that around the company, saying my employees, I just say team members. They're part of the team. Whether you're acquisitions, lead managers, dispo. So they feel a part of something.
Yeah, it's like My team comes over and my family's there, and they're like, "Oh, you work for Brent," and I'm like, "They work with me." All right, like let's calm this down. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
nobody's inferior.
Yeah, I'm not overlording and controlling it all. And I think that's really important, because once you start bringing on people, you truly work for them. They don't work for you. I mean, obviously, they have to have that motor. They have to have that engine to go out and succeed. They have to want to financially be really healthy. But if they don't need you like lording over them and hitting them. You know what I mean? No, they need to have the freedom to do what they do. So that's awesome. So when you get that property and you turn it in, did you have to find a specific, is it escrow or is it a closing attorney in Texas that you turn
escrow.
in? Escrow. So when you turn your contract for something that's creative into did you have to find a specific escrow officer that understood how to do those deals?
Man, come on, Brent. I know this is for the audience, and you already know the answer to that question. This is for education for everybody, of course, right? It's the same thing with real estate and agents. I've been an agent for 30 years, right? But there's some that still don't know half of what real estate is today, right? You got to teach. Sometimes you got to teach attorneys. Sometimes you got to teach title companies. Or if you don't have the bandwidth or the patience to do that, you go find someone that is competent and they understand what is going on today and the things that you actually can pull off. So yes, you got to find some people that understand that. Give me an example. I have real estate attorneys that will not touch a subject to.
Right.
They'll touch a corner finance deal if there's no underlying lien, but a subject to, they won't touch it. But then I have some that they'll do it all day. So yeah.
That's it, and that was the point. I obviously was setting that up because it's really important.
Thank you for the layup.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's really important to, when you're on the team, go with the experts that already know what they're doing. You don't have to learn it all. Just understand that you're working and you're trying to bring value to that property owner that's in distress. That's 6 to 10%. I think you said 4 to 6%. It just depends on the market. Typically, the average is about 6 to 10% are in distress at all times. There's plenty of opportunities. But if you open up your toolbox a little bit more with some creative and let the people handle the logistics, then you're going to get more deals, and your team and you and your portfolio are going to be a lot happier. So that's incredible. Do we have any questions that are popping up for both of us, or are we just rocking and rolling? Okay, we're just rocking and rolling. People are just like, so that is awesome. So Brian, how do people...
Are you live on YouTube right now?
We're live on YouTube. Yeah, we go live every Thursday, every Wednesday. There you go. There you go. Chevy J92 gives you some love. So, Brian, how do people get a hold of you? How do they find you? How do they be in your world?
Man, YouTube. I have a little YouTube channel as well. I don't put out as much awesome content as Brent, I need to get
I think it's
consistent.
fantastic. I think it's fantastic.
I need to get
It's really
consistent
good.
with my videos. But, I think I'm most active on Instagram, and man, I've been addicted to Clubhouse. So
Awesome. Awesome. So, guys, definitely follow him on Clubhouse. It'll alert when he's on there, and you can go in there and pick his brain and get some really, really, really great questions answered. And then obviously follow him on Instagram and check out his YouTube channel. So, Brian, thank you so much, man. That was absolutely incredible. I think you brought a lot of like real, instruction to this. So thank you so much. I know the audience loved it.
yeah,
So
thank you for all your content, man. I love your channel, man.
thank you. All right. See you, Brian. Thank you. All right. Incredible. What'd you guys think?
So good.
Yeah?
We need this guy on once a month.
Oh, I'm going to try. Yeah, I'll try. Put it in the comments if you want to see him once a month. Maybe I can make him a regular on the show. I think it'd be really good. I think that we were just hitting the surface of it, right? Yeah, absolutely.
You want to ask if anybody has properties that we should come?
Yeah. If you guys have some properties that you'd like us to pull up, I've got my trusty computer here ready to rock and roll. We can comp some properties. Let me give you a little bit of juice, a little bit at the end of the show. So we do the deal breakdown. And I love doing them. I love showing you where we got a deal, how we got a deal, and showing you the deal. We're going to show it after everybody comes up here and says goodbye to you. We're going to put it at the end of the show. So if you don't want to stick around for the live, you don't have to. But it's an incredible deal breakdown. Can you show me that settlement statement that we closed? Boom! You see at the very bottom there? You see that? Offer Arizona, that is my company there. Obviously, we got our earnest money back. And look at that. Look at that. How bananas is that? That was the deal that we talked about that we had brought up. I had brought up Chad and interviewed him just like I did with Brian. That is the $91,000 deal that he locked up in 48 hours. Absolutely fantastic. And we assigned it. Big cojones, right? We assigned it. We assigned it so that we kept all of that and didn't double close. We were thinking about closing it, and kind of flies in the face of what I talked about earlier about closing on deals instead of assigning them so that you don't lose out on juicy deals. But my acquisition manager, our disposition manager, did a really good job.
I can get those crocodile boots.
Yeah, exactly. Go to Florida and, you could hunt them or alligators or something. It's crazy. Yeah, absolutely. So that is, pop that up one more time, get everybody pumped up. That's the 91K there off of a cold call, and we have the breakdown of this. It's about a 9-minute video at the end of this show. We'll pop that on there, and you can stick around and see exactly how we pulled that and got that deal, or you can watch it later. Your choice. But we want to keep it live. The guys are like, hey, well, let's keep it live. Let's answer more questions. I think that that's more valuable than cutting out for 10 minutes during the show and going into that deal breakdown. If you like it during the show, let me know, and we'll add it back in there. Make sure that you guys are subscribing. Just like Brian here, we bring on some incredible guests every single week. We're going to keep expanding this. You need to make sure that you subscribe to this channel. It'll give us all the juice that we need to make sure that we are coming with live and with as much information and with as much great guests. The more people that watch, the more the big time guests want to be on, and the more you get to either pick their brain or just get a little slice of what they're dealing with and have me interview them and really pick apart what they're talking about. So there you go. Bring Brian back. Yeah, for sure. I'd love to. So we'll try to organize that as well. That was great. That was really great. I love his energy. I love his enthusiasm. You know what else I love? Did you hear him go through the 4 pillars of pre-qual? When he was talking about the condition, the timeline, the motivation, and the price. It's that simple, guys. There's 4 things that you need to know every time that you're talking to a distressed property owner. Condition of the property, timeline to sell, motivation to sell, and their price. You get that. By the way, that gets all organized. I don't think we have one in here. We've got a lead sheet download in TTP Insider that keeps that all organized so that you can, write it out. You can take notes as you are on the phone with a lead to make sure that you're not missing anything. You can, get really specific details and make sure that you're putting it in there. Make sure that you're following a format and a system so that you are pre-qualifying enough to see if they would consider doing business with you, which is huge. You don't want to just be working with people that have no interest in working with you. So
master lead sheet, so for people just getting started, you don't want to get into a CRM. That's how you do that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And listen, when you're starting out and you don't have, dozens and dozens of leads, you don't need a CRM. People get buried in a CRM. Tom Kroll famously says that you want to see the most broke wholesalers are the ones that are the most experienced with a CRM. And it's absolutely true, because that is a huge creative avoidance, because you try to create systems in there and you try to create it so that things are done automatically and it doesn't work out. So make sure that you get that lead sheet in ttpinsider.com. We are rolling here. Do we have a comp, or are we still doing some other stuff?
So we've got one. It's a 2018. Was listed in 2018.
Okay.
Exteriors and
it's okay.
Interiors okay.
Yeah.
What do you think?
We'll do it. Yeah.
Let's look at it.
Okay.
Let's take a look at it. So guys, right here, I'm going to pull up ttpdata.com, powered by PropStream. We'll get it on there. What is the address? You can see it's funny, all these different. So I have students reach out, and I help them comp on properties, and it's kind of all over the place. It's pretty cool going to different areas. Arcade Boulevard, Sacramento. Okay, here we go. Anna. Can Anna give us a little? Did she give us any more details?
No.
Okay. So interesting. So let's take a look at this aerial shot. Okay. Obviously, you've got some sort of walking path here. Also, I see right here there is some water. Now, I'm curious to know, and it'd be something to find out from the owner, is because this backs to this, if you have to get flood insurance. All right. Anytime there's a body of water by a property, typically you have to get flood insurance, and flood insurance can be anywhere from $100 to even $200 a month. So that definitely affects the purchasing power of the buyers that are going to end up buying this. And not only that, but because it affects their purchasing power, the prices get affected as well. So it's going to throw it off a little bit. I don't know if you need to. This might just be a little runoff or a little bit that the city designed in case that they got too much rainfall. So it's just something to check on there. Let's assume that it doesn't need it. I can just tell from the aerial here, guys. Look at this. Does that look like a new roof? Yep. You can see that there's something here. Is this an addition, or is this just a regular old patio? That's something that I'd want to know. Do we have something detached here? Is it a garage? Is it something else? What's going on there? Let's take a little look at it. Looks like it's some sort of storage, maybe not a garage. Look at this. Look at this. This is beautiful. Because of aerial, I love Google Maps. You see this? You see what that is? Those are windows, all right? Somebody enclosed this. A good question here to ask is, was this permitted? Right? If it's not permitted, it's not like the city is going to necessarily make you tear it down, but an appraiser might not count this as livable square footage. Does it have air conditioning in it? Is it a step down like most patios are? Is it a step down into this room? This really affects the value of this property. Now, I'm seeing here that it's showing that it's 1175 square feet, but the owner, I wouldn't be surprised if the owner says, no, it's really like 1,300 square feet or whatever. We put an addition on. Find out if that was permitted. Find out if that's real actual square footage. Typically, if it's showing 1175 square feet and we see this addition, it's probably not permitted. Probably something going on there, so something to consider. So if they tell you it's 1,300, I would work off of this, or I'd see how well done this addition is and whether or not an appraiser will count it as livable square footage. All right? So we're pulling up here. Give us a second here. It looks like it's kind of loading. I want to see just a little bit. I want to take a look at this thing. I want to see when he bought it. Okay, he bought it in 2018. Interesting. He bought it for $130. And he bought it in 2017. He must have transferred it maybe to somebody else. Yeah, and then it was purchased cash for $130,000. So what does that tell us? Remember, when we're comping properties, if somebody bought a property cash, what are we thinking? This is probably an investor, right? Or this is somebody buying it for their family. What is their motivation? Are they willing to go down on price? They bought it 3 years ago for $130,000. Let's take a look and see what these pictures look like. These pictures are not popping up. Thank you, PropStream. That's not popping up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put this into the Google machine, and my team is happy about that. And it's not showing on Google. It might show in this home light thing, but it's not showing necessarily. Oh, here we go. That's why. Let me get rid of this. Kind of pulled everything with it. There we go. Here we go. See that? Okay. Okay, here we go. Great. So we're always pulling it. Yes, this is showing 970 square feet. So this is showing, so that extra 200 square feet might be permitted because it's showing in the PropStream. All right. So, huh? Tired landlord lives too far away. Thank you, Anna. Perfect. Okay, so we're looking at this thing now. Interesting. Okay, clean. Talk to me, people. Talk to my VA, talk to him. Huge language. He doesn't speak great English. He said he had an offer for $220 cash, I believe. Okay. I would definitely verify this. Look at these tiny bedrooms. All right, tiny bedrooms. Bought it for $130. There's their addition. Look at that. It's got the electrical box right here, right? No appraiser in the world is going to count this as livable square footage. This is literally put on. This is not the code. This is not the code. All of this is not the code. There's probably no air conditioning there. Not that you necessarily need it in California, but you probably want it. Yeah, talk to me, Mike.
The fridge looked good there.
Yeah, fridge, extra fridge out there. I mean, this is just not the code, you know? So I wouldn't add that. I wouldn't count that as square footage. All right? So very, very interesting. Why is there so many pictures of it? Was it listed? Was it listed for rent?
In 2018.
Oh, okay. Let's take a look at this thing. Does it have the listing? There we go. Listing removed. They had it on for $199. They originally $215, had it at $199, got it under contract at $199. Probably less than $199, and then put the listing and then removed it because either they backed out or they just wanted more than what they were actually getting for it. So there might be some issues there. They might have backed out of that deal because of that non-permitted addition. Now, Zestimate has this thing, this bad boy, at $287. Let's look at PropStream here. All right. And we've got the MLS details here also. We've got a 219. Now this is interesting. 219 failed. Remember, it was originally on there, and then they reduced it. All right, and there's kind of the info there as well. All right, so let's look at the comparables here, and let's see what we can do. Now, as always, I want to go both the MLS and public records. I want to change this data range for the last 3 months. I really like PropStream's app because they just have a 3-month button that you can push and a 6-month button. And I don't know why they don't have it in this, but they don't. So I'm looking here in the specific neighborhood. Look at this. This is perfect. I've got property selling in this neighborhood. I'm going to get rid of 7 because it's across the way. Boom, you're gone. I'm going to get rid of 9 and 11. Boom. Boom, you're gone. And I'm going to look at this. This thing has it at about 260 based on the comps in the neighborhood. So I'm looking here, and you've got the highest comp is probably number 4 here, which is great. Look at number 4 in the neighborhood here. Guys, this is a tool everybody can use. It's $97 a month, ttpdata.com. This is for anybody that's really serious about this business. You need to get this tool. I mean, it shows you all these things that Zillow is not. Remember, Zillow is out to buy properties now. They're out to be your competition now. You need something because they're going to only show you enough. Make sure that you are using a tool that is outside of Zillow. Now, this is interesting. We've got them on here twice. We've got this Ponderosa, And let's take a look at this thing. This is a 3-2. Now what we're looking at is only one bath. That's a huge difference. But this one's showing that it is 1,120 square feet, same lot size, a little bit smaller lot size, and very similar year built. This is fantastic. All right, so I'm just putting this in. I'm going to just double checking to see if there's any active pendings that might pop up that might affect our value here. But it doesn't look like it's a tremendous amount. It looks like most of these are sold properties. So that's great. That shows that there's not a lot of inventory on the market, which is fantastic, which is a huge benefit for us. Okay, so we got a 3-2 that went for $337,000. Let's go take a look at what this one looked like. PropStream is just must be booting or something. Must be like doing something. Let me pull this up in Zillow. And see what that looks like. Let's get rid of this. Well, that's the one. Let's go to here. Got 2968 Ponderosa. Here we go. Woo! What pops off the map real quick? Look at this. Look at the front here, okay? What's the difference between this front and this front? Do you know what it is? A garage. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how valuable garages are. They are so much more valuable than a carport. Now, you can make a carport look cool, you can make a carport look modern and do your best, but it ain't a garage. It's not a garage. So this garage, I mean, that's going to add probably $20,000, $30,000 in value over a carport. So this one went for $337,000. All right, let's take a look at what's going on here. Let's go to the home details. Beautiful updated home. Features new paint, new interior, countertops, faucets. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much everything. I think that they even put in new cabinets, which that's not much, right? But it's clean. It's brand new. It's good. It's the original square footage. It's got 2 baths, as you can see here. It's got a tiny little yard, which is fine. But you see this? You see the difference between this house and, hold on, and this right here? See this? So they might count this as square footage. You see where the electrical box is here? It's right here. It's on the outside of the house. That's nice, okay? That's a lot better than this, just aesthetically, right? The windows, I mean, it's just crazy. So this one, he's got, it's good, it's clean, we're looking good. It's, you guys get it. Anyway, that one went for $237,000. I would knock that down to $300,000. I would say if you really make this property look good and really cleaned up, you got a shot at it. Hold on, let me get back to PropStream. At, you know, I would say above this. I see some of these other ones and I want to kind of look at what's going on here. I just want to see this 282. What's the deal with this? Okay, this one is more of a, I have no idea what's going on. Is that the front? Is that the back? That's the back. It looks like it's clean, but it's probably a funky layout. This is at 282. Let's see. But a garage. There's our garage again, but this is a 1 bath. We got to knock, yeah, I think this is right. 280 is the right price. 280 is probably the right price because I'm taking $30K off for a garage and I'm taking $20K off for that second bathroom. When you get into 1 bathrooms, there's only a small pool of buyers that's willing to do that. Now you got 1,000 square feet. Let's break this down on the board here. All right, let's break this down.
Let's close on this one.
Anna.
Yeah.
I'm going to go benefit of the doubt because I think that there's a lack of inventory. So I'm going to push this thing. I say 280. I think that you can make this nice, and let's say it goes for 285. Okay? Now, Mike, you got the calculator?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to take 6% off the top. All right? I'm going to break this down a little bit more because I think people get confused.
They do.
With
We
this.
got a question about that. So that's 267,900.
Okay, and then. Well, that doesn't make sense. Let's go 16% off the top. And this is 10% profit. And well, let me do this. Let me make this a lot clearer because this is confusing for people. So let's go. Give me that one again. Minus, just give me the, what is it minus? What is it? So 6% of this is how much, Mike? The total, not what's left.
Oh, 6%, hold on.
Yep.
17,100.
100. Okay, this is what an investor that's going to go and do something with this project for the closing costs and commissions.
And that's agent commissions, right?
Agent commissions, yeah, when you go to resell and whatever. Okay, and then 10% of this is the profit that they're going to be looking for. So they're going to be looking for $28,500 minimum for that deal, to do that deal. The investor's return, they're going to want at least $28,500 on this, okay? So then that puts us at, what did you say, Mike?
And Brent, real quick, your rule there is 10% or 20,000, whichever.
20,000 minimum.
Got it,
on a
okay.
flip. Yeah.
Hold on real quick.
Okay. So that puts us at how much?
It's 0.84. 239.4.
239,400.
Yeah, that's 0.84.
That's not right. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Okay. And then it's a 1,000 square foot house. So let's say that making it all look good with the cabinets, it's in California, it costs more for labor. So let's say it's going to cost $25,000 for that fix-up cost. An investor is going to be looking to buy that for $214,400. So you got to be under that, Anna. If he's got a deal, if he's got a cash offer at 220, tell him to take it. If I were you, I'd hit him at 200 or 205 or whatever, and you can try to push that value. But that's what I would do there.
And to be clear, Anna would try to sell this to her cash buyers for $214,400.
Yep. Yep.
And then she's got to get it for less than that, so she makes some money, right?
Yeah. So she'd put it out at 215, and so she'd lock it up under that and make the assignment.
Got it. Okay.
Yep. Or take it down with if you wanted to take it down with a partner and do that flip yourself, you'd want it to get it at 215, which you're not too far off. If you've got somebody, if they got 220, well, the question is, why haven't you taken that 220 offer, right? Why haven't you taken that 220 offer? If it's real. And if it's not real, then maybe you can get him down just a little bit, just to that 200. He's still making 70 grand on this in like 4 years. It's a smoking deal. This investor got a smoking deal a few years ago. So don't be surprised if they're very savvy. Don't be surprised if they source this themselves, or maybe they got it from a family member or inherited or whatever else. Whatever it is, however they got that deal, they did a good job of buying that right, because they're going to make a nice return on it. So remember, we're offering you a cash as is offer, net offer, so that you can give him a net offer of $200,000 clean, and he can be out of there. Now the other thing is, did he say it was vacant, or did Anna say it was vacant, or that it's occupied? She said that it was a absentee owner. Yeah. So I would just see if there's tenants in there. If there's tenants in there, yeah, I mean, if there's tenants in there, you just got to see how long their lease is. And the thought that was sticking in my head right there, Mike, was he had it on the market for $220,000 in 2018. Then he had it down the market for $200,000 in 2018, and then it went under contract, and then he canceled it. So I'm wondering what's going on there. There's a story to be told there. You can get in, and I wouldn't be surprised if their expectations are way more 3 years later, thinking that the market's going bananas if they had it under contract before, but maybe they were selling to a retail buyer, and maybe they had a problem with it because of the addition and the condition.
Tenant is moving out in April.
Awesome. Yeah. So get after it, Anna. Keep us posted. I would get him at 200. Good comp. I thought that was great.
That was a good comp.
Yeah.
46. Want some more questions?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Let's do it. What is a double close? I'm located in Washington State and have an attorney who said he would help, but at $480 an hour. BWR, I would have to know what help that attorney is talking about. If it is a real estate like closing attorney, they They typically will just work for the deal. I mean, they get paid through the closing. So if it's somebody that's just a real estate attorney that you're wanting to talk to, that's not who you're bringing the deals to and doing a double close. You want to bring it to the double. Just post to a Facebook group in your market and say, who is the best closing attorney? Can you guys verify? Can you just Google and see if Washington's an attorney state or escrow? I think it's attorney. But if it's a attorney state, find who is the best closing attorney that does double closes and see what people respond and then work with that person. If somebody's like $480 per hour for what? I don't know, what does that mean? So
do the closing attorneys usually work for the title company, the big title company?
Well, here, the title companies have attorneys on staff, but in other states, you have to go through an attorney to actually transfer title.
So in other states, the attorneys don't actually work for like Fidelity
or
First American.
No, they work for themselves.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
But typically they work, there's an escrow company that does all the title research, and the attorney is just there to legally make sure that it transfers correctly. Some states, you need that done by a legal authority, I guess. Yeah. So find an attorney that will work through the closing of the deal. All right? Awesome.
It's a normal escrow state. Well, not normal, but...
Washington State is?
Yeah.
Oh, then bro, listen, you don't need, just go to your escrow company. Just go to the title and escrow company, post in a Facebook real estate investing group and say, who is the best real estate, who is the best title and escrow officer that does double closes or double escrows or whatever it is. People respond. They love pumping up their people. They love pumping up and saying, I've got the best, and this is the best person to do it. And then just see if you have a good connection with them and try a couple different ones. How exactly do you send your deals to potential buyers? Email, CC. Email. We email them out or we'll call them, just depending on the deal. If we've got a specific deal that we know that one of our cash buyers will pay a good amount and it's the perfect deal for them and it's something that we kind of want to keep private, then because we just want it to go really smooth, maybe it's a very, very, very tentative seller. Typically, we'll just close those ourselves, to be honest. But we'll email. We do a lot of damage with our email. We just use MailChimp. And we have our emails, 58 to 6,500 people. We the reason there's a range there is we get rid of the people that don't open. We keep the people that are active. And we use, he uses a Google Drive link, but you can also use a Dropbox for any pictures. So it's just a great way to put your pictures in, get a link on it. You can get the Dropbox app or the Google Drive app and put all your pictures in there and rock and roll. Yep. So, yeah, just get it out to them. I mean, if you don't have a tremendous amount, pick up the phone, CC, call them. Hey, I've got a smoking deal for you. You got to go, you got to check out this deal. I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to text it to you right now. I'm going to email it to you right now. Check it out. Let me know if you want it. This one is hot. So let me know as soon as you can if you want to commit to this deal. Hey, all right. That is awesome. From Ireland. Is it Kieran? Is that Kieran? Is that how you pronounce it?
I have no idea.
I think so. I don't know. But that's fantastic from Ireland. That is great. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. What an incredible opportunity to communicate. So that's awesome. Stephanie, I have a seller who does not want an assignment option on the agreement. Could I use Keegley to wholesale? No, they're not going to fund your deals. They're not going to fund your deals. I mean, you could reach out to them, but they're not going to be the backer. If they don't want an assignment option in the agreement, that tells me a lot. First of all, that tells me, one, that they've already had a deal with somebody else that backed out, and now they have a bad taste in their mouth. Two, they're either an attorney or being instructed by an attorney. Three, they're a real estate investor, and they know the wholesaling game. That's the only reason that they wouldn't want an agreement option in the contract, which leads me to believe that you need to really, 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 Stephanie, sharpen your pencil on those prices and make sure that you're getting a really good deal. Believe it or not, some investors have made a ton of money. They're super bored. They get 1 trillion calls on their properties, and they like the game of locking you in, catching people that maybe are newer or don't really know the comps or haven't really looked at it a lot. They lock them in. They make them put in the earnest money or non-refundable earnest money. They know that you can't sell it, and they take your earnest money, or they sell it for the price that they want. So don't fall into that trap. Make sure that you really sharpen your pencil on that, and make sure that if they don't want that option agreement, find somebody that'll fund it if it's a really good deal. If it's a really good deal, go to the top person that bids at the foreclosure auctions. Go to the hard money lenders, private money lenders. Go to anybody that's got a great reputation as a fix and flipper. Go to anybody that's a real estate agent that works with a lot of investors and say, hey, listen, I've got this smoking deal. We need to close on it. Will you be my financial partner? We'll split this thing and find a way. Find a way. There's a way. There's always a way. Find a way.
Let's give our guy Robert some love here, and then I think we close out. And
then we'll do the deal breakdown.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Robert, here we go. Haven't got a deal yet, and I just got fired from my job. I know it was a blessing in disguise to TTP. Just give me some motivation, please. Brent. Well, Robert, here's the thing. That's what jobs do. That's the problem. We think that jobs have the security. We think that jobs are going to provide that stream of income forever. The only thing that can give you that security is you working for you. You using those talents and skills and going out there making a difference in your community. Your income is equal to the value you provide to your community. So how much value do you want to provide, Robert, to your community? Is it $50,000? Is it $100,000? Is it $250,000? Is it $1 million? It's up to you, but you've got it in your hands. Now you've got a schedule. Hopefully you've got a nest egg, or you've got some savings saved up where you can survive. What I would say is keep your budget low, first of all. Keep your optimism high. Make sure that you're watching all the videos on this channel. Make sure that you're getting all that juice, and make sure that you're not getting confused and you're not staying in those first 3 steps of discovering and researching and goal setting, and you're taking the action. That's where I want you to be, Robert. Just take the action. Listen, it's very simple. I said it from the beginning of this show, and I'll end the show with this, is quality conversations with distressed property owners. There's every tool that you need in TTP Insider. There's every video instruction that you need on this channel to get you going and building your momentum. There's literally no excuses. The only thing stopping you is you. So pick it up. Keep that optimism high, get that certainty high, get your likability high, get your energy high, be authentic with your enthusiasm, and go out there and take action. And you got this, brother. You will be successful. It's impossible not to if you're having enough quality conversations. You've got this. Don't look back. Look forward and stay in the moment. Do your job just today, which is talking to distressed property owners, and think about the future. Don't dwell on the past. It's going to drag you down. You've got this, brother. You have got this. Team, come on up. Let's say goodbye to everybody. I know that they've seen you a bunch, but not everybody. Everybody come up, and then we're going to do the $91,000 deal breakdown that was shot and edited by this guy right here. Mr. Daniel Walker, fantastic, looking cool in his shirts. We got the wonderful Alejandra that picks all of your questions. So if you really want to get in good, make sure that you mention her in the comments. We got Mike Mahoney that you've seen. You've got Jesse, and you've got Matt here. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We are going to say goodbye, everybody. All right, Matt, you want to click the button for the deal breakdown. Here's the deal breakdown, $91,000. Thank you so much for Brian Iregbu for being on here. Fantastic. That was a wonderful segment. We're going to make sure that we cut that up and put that into its own. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. As always, we're going to see you next Wednesday. Enjoy this deal breakdown. You're the best. I love you. I'm excited because we're going to break down an actual deal, a massive deal. We made a net profit of $91,000 on this wholesale deal, and I'm going to show you the exact list to pull, because I don't care if you're cold calling, if you're text blasting, if you are door knocking, if you are sending direct mail, the list is critical. You need to be able to pull the most distressed list that you can so that you can go after properties that are the most likely to sell at a discount. So come around here and I'll show you exactly how we pulled this list. All right, so first of all, ttpdata.com. ttpdata.com, you need to get on here. It's powered by PropStream, and this is a tool that every serious real estate investor uses. All right, it is absolutely incredible. You need to have it. All right, so first we're going to start my market in Phoenix. And now we're going to filter down. Look at this. It's 444,000 properties. So I'm going to filter this down right here. First, property characteristics. Property type, I'm going to go multifamily 2 to 4. I am telling you, do not sleep on this list. It is an incredible list to go after because everybody wants to buy multifamily. The cash buyer pool is huge. So multifamily here. Next, this one is critical. You got to put in 1990 for the year built. I want them built before 1990. I want them older. I want them seasoned. I want them beat up a little bit. I want them needing some renovation. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the MLS status. Now you click here, go to on market and press no. I don't want anything that's on the market. I want it all off market properties. That's how you get the biggest deals. All right. And the next thing that I want you to do, the last thing I want you to do is go to the ownership info. Years of ownership, I want you to put a 7 years minimum. I want these owners to be tired of this property. I want them to be at the point where they're making a decision. The average ownership of a property is 7 years. So put in 7 years for the minimum, and here you go. Multifamily 2 to 4. 1990, not on the market, 7 years or more. That's the list. Now let's take a look at this. Look at this, 1,786 properties. That is incredible. That is a solid list of properties that we go after. This is the exact list that we pulled. And then you click here, you add it to the list. That's going to put it into an Excel format. And then you take that Excel format and you put it in at batchskiptracing.com. You upload it. They give you the phone numbers and bam, the door is open for you to make contact with these property owners. And listen, you got it. It's just a numbers game. You got to just keep talking to people. You need to keep having quality conversations with distressed property owners, and you cannot lose. I'm giving you the blueprint here. It's absolutely phenomenal. So let's go check out this property. We're going to drive by it, and let's hit the road. Massive deals. That's what we're talking about here. I consider a massive deal anything that is over $50,000. And on this deal, we're netting $91,000, which is a huge deal. Listen, I don't want to downplay it and be like, oh, we do these deals all the time. We don't. That's not, our average size is about 30,000. So this is triple what we usually do. But the reason we did is of the location of the property that we put under contract. Now, we're in Central Phoenix. It's very popular because of its location to the best restaurants and to entertainment and a local music scene. So people want to be down here. And so we target this area. We don't have a lot of deals here, but when we do, we make a ton. So make sure that you don't get frustrated in some of the more popular areas, because if you get frustrated, you're going to miss out on some of these extremely profitable opportunities. So make sure that you're going after the best neighborhoods, or at least the up and coming kind of niche neighborhoods. Now, these aren't $1 million homes by any means, but these are, you know, properties that get rehabbed and look beautiful, and they sell for, you know, between $400,000 and $500,000. And we locked this deal up for $260,000. Ended up selling it for $351,000. And the beautiful thing is, we pulled the multifamily list, but the property is actually It's right here. The property is actually a single family house and it's in good shape. And you know what the best part about this is? Somebody that's buying it is somebody that wants to live there. There's no other properties on the market, but because we pad our cash buyer database with so many real estate agents, a real estate agent brought us the buyer for this, and that's how you get these big, massive deals. One, you have to build up your cash buyer database, and you can see it's got newer windows. It looks okay. It's not in terrible condition, but it is a property that, with a little bit of love, they're buying it for $350. With a little bit of love, it's going to be worth $450. It's a great deal for them that nobody else knows about, and they couldn't even get into this neighborhood because nobody wants to leave this neighborhood because they love it so much. So a couple thoughts here. One, go after properties that are in really popular areas. Don't get frustrated when it takes you a lot of time to get a really good deal. But the really good deal, look at this. I'm going to go after this property next. Look at that. This is the next one I'm going after. Actually, I'm going after both of these. These are both beautiful potentials. Oh, I'm going to add these to my Deal Machine app and get after it. I already have them. I already have them in my Deal Machine app 100%. But look at that. Potential all over the place. It's absolutely bananas. If you're out in the streets looking for potential, every time you lock up a deal, you need to go into the neighborhood and find all. Look at this. Another one. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Oh my gosh. This street is just filled with just absolute gold. So much potential. And then I'm going to go after, and I'm going to obsess with these properties. And I have my team go after them until they tell us never talk to us again. And then we'll go down a different street and find other opportunities. It is literally limitless, the amount of opportunities that you can have if you're going out there every single day and having quality conversations with distressed property owners. You will win. You will win every time. So let's do a recap on this property. All right. So the condition, it was in rental condition. It was okay. It needs some renovation, but it's in good, decent condition. Somebody can move in there and live there today. The timeline, we talked to the seller. 48 hours later, we got the deal. 48 hours. Usually our average timeline from our first conversation to when we get paid is 92 days. I want you to put that in your mind. I want you to put that as an expectation. Don't think that you're getting paid in a week from the efforts that you're taking today. It takes time. All right. The next thing is the motivation. Motivation is they own this property as a rental. They've owned it for forever. They bought it extremely cheap, and now they want to cash out. They're done. They're tired of being landlords. And the fourth, the price, they wanted $260,000. We gave it to them, and we sold it for $351,000, making a net profit of $91,000. How extreme is that? How beautiful is that? And the way that we got a hold of them is we picked up the phone and we called them. We literally skip traced the address. The beautiful thing about batchskiptracing.com right now is that now, for the first time ever, they are skip tracing LLCs and trusts. This is game changing, and it's accurate. It is phenomenal. You need to start adding this to your list of properties that you're going after. Do not get scared if it's owned by an LLC, because now you have the tool that you need to be able to get that info. Other people, nobody was calling them. Nobody was calling them because nobody could get the number. Nobody could go in and figure out who owned it, and then go through 3 different layers of figuring out who to talk to and who owned it, because it's been owned in an LLC for years. So now with batchskiptracing.com, we were able to do that, and boom, got that deal. So you can do it too. This is real life. These are real deals. We close them every single week, and I'm excited to bring them to you. So I just want you to use this as inspiration that you can do this. You can go out into your communities every single day, find opportunities, and really change your financial future with this business. So there you go. That's it. I love you guys. Until next time. See ya.